All right, gang, we are going to go through yesterday's assignments, 296, 297. First box, show the figure to be translated. Remember, the SL in translated stands for slide. So you're just sliding this shape over, and you need to draw basically the same shape. Please draw it better than I am drawing it. Up, over, down to, and diagonal up. Translated. Okay, make sure yours is neater than mine. Okay, so coming over here, we are going to, remember you have to convert fractions. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and convert this fraction. We have 7/8 minus what would give us 1/8. Well, once your denominator is the same, gang, then you're just working with that top number. Okay, so if we have 7/8, 7 minus 6 is 1, so the answer is 6/8. Over here now, okay, we have to change this. So now we have different, we don't have a common denominator. We need to find one. Okay, so we're going to change either your 4 or you got to change the 2. Well, the 2 is easier to change. We'll change that to 2/4 is the same as half. Multiply them both by 2. So t, what plus 1/4 is 2/4. Answer is 1/4. Again, once you change that denominator, they should be pretty easy. The next one we are changing, again, we got to change our fifths into tenths. Okay, so 1/5 is the same as, we multiply by 2 to change that 5 into a 10. Whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. 2/10 and 1/5 are the same. Oops. And that is not 2/10. Sorry. There we go. So now 3/10 minus what gives you 2/10? The answer is 1/10. Okay. Next one. Okay, same deal. We have to change this into eighths. Okay, so 3/4. If we change it into eighths, we're going to multiply by 2. Okay, because 4 times 2 is 8. Well, 3 times 2 is 6/8. So now 2/8 plus what number gives us 6/8? Our denominators are the same. We don't mess with that. Okay, our numerator, though, we have 2/8, 2 plus 4, okay, is 6. So 4/8. 4/8 is the same as, which equals half. Okay, multiples. The multiples, first 10 multiples of 6. So you're just going to multiply. Okay, multiply by 2. I'm going to roll this all the way across. We'll see if I can make this work. Okay, so 6 times 2 is 12. Okay, we're just counting by 6. 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48, 54, and we end with 60. Okay, now a little bit harder down here. Okay, so down here you have to either multiply, okay, 86 times 2, and then when you get here, it's going to be 86 times 3, 86 times 4, 86 times 5, or you can keep adding 86. I think multiplying is easier. And if you make a mistake adding back on one of these, if you miss and you're off by 1, well, the rest of them are going to be off by 1. So it's easier probably to multiply. So we have 172. 86 times 3, 258, 344, 430, 516, 602, 688, sorry, 774, and finally 860. Okay, multiples of. Inserting parentheses. These are tough, and if you had to use a um, uh, I would think, well, yeah, if you had to use a calculator on these bottom ones, as I look at them, these are a little more difficult. But as you look at these, look at which side has one operation. Okay, the first two don't. You have three numbers on this side, and your parentheses are either going to go here or here. Those are your only choices, and then you can work through them. Same with this one. On these down here, it's kind of the same deal, except this side has one operation, 5 times 30, okay, and we don't have an equal sign. Now we got a greater than sign. So 5 times 30, go ahead and do that right away. Sorry, I'm skipping around, but 150, okay, and now you know that this side has to be greater than 150, okay? Well, if we add this side to it, you're going to get 60. Okay, so 56 and 3/10 plus 3 and 7/10, okay, is 60. Well, 60 times 3, 3 times 6 is 18, plus a 0 is 180. 180 is greater than 150. All right, sorry for skipping ahead. Let's go up to these. So one side or the other. And again, these are tricky. We're going to put parentheses. Sorry, I didn't put your parentheses in this one. We're going to go there and there. On this one, parentheses are going to go right up front. And when you add those two together, okay, let's see if I can just draw it. You get 100. Okay, so 100. 100 times 2 and 5/10 is 250. Okay, down here. So we are going to go ahead and put a parentheses here. 7. Okay, so we have 21 and 7/10 divided by 7 is 3 and 1/10. Okay, this one we've done. Coming down here again, this side of this side of our equal sign, we can go ahead and work that problem. And if we subtract 13 and 8/10 minus 5 and 3/10, we get 5 and 5/10. Okay, so this one is probably calculator worthy, but if we're going to go here and here, okay, and on that you would subtract those, not adding, you get 2 and 75 hundredths, and that multiplied by 2 is 5.5, so that's where your parentheses would go. Okay, this side, gum costs 80 cents per pack. Well, what is the cost of 4? You're going to do some multiplication on all of these, okay? So first one, 80 times 4 is $3.20, okay? 10 times 80, slide it over, is $8. 16 times 80 cents would be $12.80. And finally, 32 packs of gum times 80 cents gives you $26.40. Remember, when we're multiplying, where that decimal goes, that's kind of the tricky one on those problems. Okay, so there are the answers at 296. 297. The object below has the shape of a geometric solid. What is it? That geometric solid is a cylinder. Draw the figure after it is rotated counterclockwise. Okay, so you have clockwise, the way a clock moves, and counterclockwise would be rotating it this way. Okay, so if you rotate that counterclockwise, this side right here would come down to the bottom. Okay, so you're going to be there, up 2, over 2, up 1. Okay, that's what your shape is going to look like. Okay, down here, estimating, we're just putting our decimals in on both of these. These are kind of tough. I'm not a fan of those. Sorry for leaving you with those. Okay, greater than, less than, though. Okay, so negative 14 is, these are tricky. That's actually less than. When you do these, you have to kind of draw yourself. Let me come up here. I'm going to draw a quick, I think, number line. So if I was at 0, okay, and let's say we had negative 10, okay, my 0 go. So if I'm coming down this, okay, so my negative 6 would be here. My negative 14 would be over here. Well, that is, you move away from your 0, okay, you're getting smaller. It's, imagine you're, the number's larger, but imagine if it's, if it's owing money. Would you rather owe $6 to somebody or $14? Well, I would rather owe $6. So it's kind of reverse when you get into these. So 126, or negative 123, sorry, is greater than negative 241. This is negative 8 9/10 is less than, it's farther down the line, okay, then farther down the line than negative 5 7/10. Okay, negative 2/4, or this would be, if we change this to a decimal, right, we would have 25. I apologize that this isn't coming in there, but we would have negative 25 hundredths. And if we did this one, okay, we would have to change this into tenths, and we would get 4 tenths, or 40 hundredths. We make it a negative 40 hundredths. So again, we're farther down the line. 3/9 and 1/3. Again, if you made this an equivalent fraction, to change this into a 9, we would multiply by 3. Well, 3 times 3 is 9, and 1 times 3 is 3. So let me go back to my pen. So if I multiply both by 3, I would actually have a negative. 1 times 3 is 3, and 9 on the bottom, 3/9. Negative 3/9. Well, that makes these equal to each other. Okay. Bottom one, rounded to the nearest tenth. This is my tenth. 6 tells me to round it up. Okay, so I have, give me a text box. Okay, 3.5, or 3 5/10. This one would round to 7. Okay, go 70 if you wanted to. This one, 4 4/10, or if you want to make it 40. That 5 tells you to round up. This would stay at 9 6/10, and this one would round to 22 9/10.